From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning here on LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. And then we go to the deal. Done. Deal. You're getting $3.5 trillion of checks under the fourth stimulus recon. This is not checks for children. This is checks for you, including seniors and workers. I'll be going over this incredible deal and the incredible $3.5 trillion of checks that are coming to the American people like you. And then we go to the vote. A vote is set this week. But which bill is going for a vote, and will it set up a vote for another bill? Meantime, Ron Wyden and Nancy Pelosi spar words over the weekend. I'll be going over their exciting details as well. And then we go over the fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. And this is for SSI, SSDI, and VA. Incredible great news across the board. As also, viewers like Nisa who got $23,000 are joined with new viewers, like one who got $17,000 to $18,000 for rent over the weekend. It's a great day. It's a great morning. The toast is toasting. The butter is buttering. I'm here. You're here. Let's get to the news, starting right here on Mornings LALATE. Hope you're having a beautiful morning. How's the weather? You know, we had a surprise event last night in LA. It rained. Rain and Los Angeles, two words you just never hear in the same sentence. It happened. It's, next time it'll happen in, 20 years from now. It rained for 4 hours last night, it seemed like. And yeah, so real surprise there. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus checkout day of 2021, so much breaking news. First, we're going to go over those monthly stimulus checks and why you're likely to get more months of checks. Then we go to the recon. Deal done. You're getting $3.5 trillion of checks. $3.5 trillion. This is not third stimulus for children. This is fourth stimulus for everyone, including my seniors and also my workers. I'll go over all this incredible news and what are some of these checks. And then we cut to the vote. A bill is set for a vote this week. Is it the recon, or is it the bipartisan, or is it both? Meantime, Nancy Pelosi swarms in words with Ron Portman over the weekend. In the final 15 of the final 7, we go over the final 7 days potentially for this battleground. In the final 15 minutes of this video, stay to the very end. It's getting really great news. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. This is for my veterans, for my seniors, SSI and SSDI. I have all that as well. Finally, the big money across the board, like viewers like Nisi who got $23,000, Art Sullivan who got 3 items, John who got $10,000 to $12,000. I'm going to show you how you get this as well. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week. Financial News Channel in America, live in the morning like right now, and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Mornings Crypto at 9:30, then noontime at 11 a.m. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus check starting right now. Monthly stimulus check, if we look at the House versus Senate approach, both monthly, but different amounts of checks and also different number of checks. So let's look at how they got so different across the board and why they're impacted differently because of the pandemic. Well, House bill, pandemic plus 1 year, Senate proposal, July to December. Then let's go to the payouts. House bill, $1,000 after the first month. Senate amount unknown, but word on the street is the Senate would pay you this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. It was 4 weeks ago that we sat back and we said, well, maybe the pandemic's not over, and that means that the House bill would likely only give us 1 year of checks. 3 weeks ago, we realized the pandemic isn't over. 2 weeks ago, we realized the pandemic's really not over. And last week, we realized the pandemic is far from over. If that's the case, then the House bill would pay pandemic plus 1 year as written, which would be more than 12 checks from the House, which would be more than $13,000 for those 12 checks. Compare that to this and the Senate, I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I want to see you vote in House or Senate. Well, who gets this forced stimulus check? Democrats represent that if you got a third, you're getting a forced stimulus check. Single individual, 75,000 less. Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 less. Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check. Double it. Family of four. Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits like SSI, SSDI, veterans, Democrats want you to have a forced stimulus check. The forced stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The forced stimulus check would be the same for everyone, including adult dependents. And the fourth stimulus check is a monthly check, not a waivable check. I learned my lesson on that one over the weekend. I was at Mitch's Lobster Fest, and I saw him, and I went up to the senator, and I said, "Hello, Senator McConnell. How are you?" "Hello, LALATE. How are you?" "Good, good. I wanted to come up and wave at you. How are you doing?" "I'm not a waivable check, LALATE." I looked at him, and I said, "Well, Mitch, you're not a monthly check either. Get out of here, LA. Security, get him out of here." The forced stimulus check would cover the month of July for the month of July and the month of August for the month of August. But in the second half of this video, we go over the exciting news as we have a done deal. $3.5 trillion. You're getting $3.5 trillion of checks in the fourth stimulus package. This is not checks for children. This is fourth stimulus, not third stimulus. And we're going to go over all the incredible money and how much you're getting and what these items are for in the second half of this video. Then in the third part, we go over the vote. There is a vote set this week. Which bill, but could it tee up another bill? And what is the plan B? A lot of surprising details, a lot of breaking news in the final 15 of the final 7. Stay to the final 15 minutes of this video. But first, here's a preview of fifth stimulus. It heats up this fall by raising up your benefits a lifetime. And that's SSI and SSDI and VA. But how high can it go? I'll show you later in this video. But first, let's get some money. You have been killing it. If you got a rent, post in the live chat. If you got utilities, post in the live chat. If you got SNAP, post in the live chat. We started these recordings a few weeks ago, and I was saying rent, I could get you $5,000, about 4 to 6 months of rent. Nisi, however, she got $20,000 for rent. Over the weekend, another viewer broke records for this channel. In the last 3 months, 2 months, she got $17,000 to $18,000 for rent. Incredible, great news. For utilities, I said I can get you $300 for utilities. Viewers are now getting $3,000 daily. For SNAP, I said $5,000 to $6,000 for SNAP. Viewers are killing it. John, congratulations. He got $10,000 to $12,000. Louis, $18,000. What's going on? This is what this channel does. This channel is about you cashing checks, not tracking checks. In April of last year, I launched this channel for you to not to track checks, but to cash checks. EID loan and grant checks were not coming. They were not trackable. But I got those checks for you. $25 million of EID loan checks approved, and you cashed them. Then in fall of 2020, second stimulus checks were not coming, not trackable, but I got you $250,000 of checks to cash. Like Tyrone, a family of 4 out of Boston, got $15,000 for his channel of checks to cash for rent. Now you're doing it again. The only difference is your numbers are incredible. Your numbers are through the roof. I'm so proud of you. So get a pen and paper ready. We're going to go over all this incredible money for you to get. I'm going to show you how to get rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. You're going to reach out to different places. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. And you're ready? Here you go. The keywords viewers tell me are critical for helping them get approved. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, though. You don't say stimulus, and you don't say Mitch's fan club. They don't know that. I don't know that. Does it exist? I don't know. And there you go. Congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. The next pot of money is the money coming back from SNAP. John got $10,000 to $12,000 for the SNAP money. Oh, congratulations, John. I'm so proud of you. Louis got $18,000. Louis, you're killing it. Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. What is this? It's money for SNAP. What is SNAP? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. What is the eligibility? Easier than a stimulus check. How much does it pay? A lot. A family of 4 out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year now. Wow, why so much money? Because of two executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. You're killing it. We're killing it. And if you got SNAP, post in the live chat. If you got utilities or rent, post in the live chat. And $16,000 for SNAP for a family four out of Hawaii. $5,000 for rent, but viewers are now getting $20,000. And we're only 10 minutes this video. I got more money for you right now. It's the refund check coming back from your state due to overpayment and a computer error. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you due to computer error and then asking the money back. The money was yours to keep. The federal government has ordered. So where's it landing? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yeah. Contact your state and say, hey, state, where's that check due to computer error? Can you track it? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And then finally, the refund check coming back from IRS. Margaret got it, Cog got it, Michael got it. How much is it? Well, we have an update from IRS. They're doing this as a waivable check. Sorry, Mitch. This waivable check has its latest waive of $1,265 average payout. Whoa. Wonderful. Direct deposits for this wave started July 14th and May projects July 16th. A new wave starts this week as well. And a wave every week. Now, if you're in the live chat and have not posted your rent, your utilities, your SNAP success stories, do it right now. Because this is viewers helping viewers. And when you do it, you help other viewers. 3 things happen from it. Number 1, when you post it and there's 1,000 people in the live chat and 200 people post their success stories, it inspires other people to go get the money. So do it. Then, number 2, if you post your money and you're like Art Sullivan who got 3 items or Nisi who got 3 items, then you inspire other people to get multiple items if they only got 1. Why are you stopping with rent? You should be getting SNAP as well, for example. And finally, it updates us about the numbers. When we thought SNAP was 5,000 to 6,000, now we see 18,000. It updates us across the board. All right, for this money from the IRS, where is it landing? Can you track it? All the details? Let's go over them. First, let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. You're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah. Go to irs.gov. Do a transcript search. It'll reveal stuff you never knew, like the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. Then it'll reveal stuff that just sort of wish you never knew or heard. For example, it'll tell you when Mitch appeared on Star Search, was that hair by Amazon hair? And then finally, it'll reveal the refund check coming back to you from IRS. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your 4 stimulus check updated 2021, starting right now. Well, deal, done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the 4 stimulus recon. It's a done deal. The Democrats have agreed upon the price tag, and they've agreed to pass it. So $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. Later in this video, I'll be going over all the incredible details of these checks. These are checks for you. This is not checks for children. That was 3rd stimulus. This is 4th stimulus. This is checks for everyone. We're going to go over all that later in this video. But how did they get to this spot? By taking roads and bridges out of what originally was on the recon. Before July 4th, Nancy and Chuck thought they were going to pass the recon with roads and bridges in there. It was not passable. Democrats said, I'm not going to vote for it with all the roads and bridges in there. It's too big. They took the roads and bridges out, and they put those roads and bridges into the infrastructure, shrinking the recon, making it passable. And now it has been passed on price tag and functionality, $3.5 trillion. We have that confirmation from conservative publication, which confirms my reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put it into bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon bill got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch, sorry to set you up. But Mitch doesn't feel set up because the Republicans claim they love the bipartisan and that they claim it's going for a vote this week. Yes, that's coming up later in this video. Well, what happened here? Once the Democrats had shrunk the recon, they were able to add a little bit more in there, and they got the price tag they wanted. $3.5 trillion, a big, bold, beautiful number. Everything they wanted. And that's what they had asked for. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat, progressive, Minnesota, said that we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon. $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. And then Representative Richie Torres, Democrat, progressive, New York, said we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie. Congratulations, 3.5. And the progressives were meeting with the White House daily to ensure the recon went big enough. They got it, 3.5. Jollipop and also Schatz. Both Democrats, both progressives had confirmed that they were instructed by the White House to protect the progressive policies in the recon. Why? Because the recon is all checks and all progressiveness. That the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon its own priorities. Wow. Now, what is a recon? How does it get written? How does it get passed? Who votes on it? When do we see it? And everything you need to know about the recon. Let's go over it starting right now. But let's start with the words recon. You'll see on this channel, I only use two words, recon and bipartisan. Very simple words, recon being one thing and bipartisan being the roads and bridges. But mainstream media uses other words, and so does the president. So let's go over those other words so you know what you're seeing if you hear it. Recon is also called reconciliation. It's also called the budget bill. You'll recognize it by price tag, 3.5 trillion. You'll recognize it by the people quoted in the article about it, like Bernie Sanders. Bipartisan, also called infrastructure, also called roads and bridges. You'll recognize it by its price tag, smaller, 1.5 trillion. You'll recognize it by the people quoted in the article about it, like a Kristen Sinema, a Mitt Romney, or a Ron Portman. All right, who writes the recon and how is it written? It's written, the recon, by Democrats for Democrats to pass by Democrats. The actual authors are House subcommittee members. Under the Constitution, subcommittees of the House are delegated different subject matters, and they write the fourth stimulus recon in conjunction with the Senate subcommittee members. The recon provisions are separated based upon topic, and those recons are separated based upon what they do. Those recons subject matters are, first of all, House Ways and Means. They go over stimulus checks. House Ways and Means goes over unemployment benefits. And those subcommittee members write and vote and write. During the process, they ultimately come up with a number of pages they're done with. Let's say it's 10 pages per each subcommittee, and there's 10 of them. Then those 10 pages of 10 committees are sent up to Chuck. He combines it, 100 pages, and then he puts a big S on it. For Laverne and Shirley? No. For Schumer? No. For Senate? Yes. And that is your Senate reconciliation bill. Before we have that bill, we do not have transparency because it's not required under the Constitution, not guaranteed under the Constitution. The Constitution does not require the subcommittees to show us what they're voting on, what they're voting against, what they're writing out, or writing in, or taking out. Finally, when we see the recon, we see the recon. And conservative mainstream media and myself agree upon it, that the Democrats just don't want you to see the recon, much like a pop singer who has an upcoming album doesn't want you to hear the songs until the album's released. No surprises about that at all. We have not been revealed the recon in totality yet. So that is why we don't have the recon. If you see a naysayer in the comments that says, I haven't heard in the recon about, well, guess what? That hasn't been released yet. Not bill yet. We have an emoji for that. How do we get to this wonderful spot? From Jollipop. Jollipop had written Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among 100 plus who had written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Whoa, 100? That's a lot. It is a lot. But can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means subcommittee, the same one you were just talking about, yep, that one, wrote the president a letter recently saying, we're going to be writing fourth stimulus recon and putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in there. Oh boy, that is wonderful news. We Purple Power have to keep them to that promise. Monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon. That's what they're promising. They also wrote your third stimulus recon, and they represent they're doing a fifth. That's coming up later in this recording. Can we top that? We can. As Biden didn't, the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum is now actually law. You saw the president 5 weeks ago have a ceremonial signature of this overseas, but this last week it actually was signed into law here in the States. It's now officially law. It's huge for fourth stimulus because it's confusing, and the confusing thing is not in fourth stimulus. First, why is this great news? One, it's easier to write the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. It makes it easier to call the vote on the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. It makes it easier to vote on the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there, and it makes it easier to pass the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the final 15 of the final 7, in the final 15 minutes of this video, it's jam-packed. A lot of breaking news, a lot of things happening today, a lot of things, and while hideously complex, I'm going to try to make them easy for you to understand. We're going to go over the vote, the bills, the dates, and why another bill may be called for a vote. We'll go over the backup plans and what Nancy said versus Ron Portman. It's all really breaking and it's really surprising. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. Is there something more wonderful than that? Yes, the volunteers. If you've had problems finding that rent, utilities, or internet, or SNAP, don't worry. I have your back, and so do the volunteers. They're viewers just like you. They've stepped forward to help you get this money. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Look for that emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of a house, it sends you to the community page. It's news.lalate.com/community. On the community page, you can see the volunteers separated from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and reach out to them. They'll help you get that money. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with the final 15 of the final 7 in this recording. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the toast is toast, and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and we're going into the final 15 of the final 7 starting right now. In the final 15 minutes of this video, you need to stay to the very end because I'm going to go over all the incredible breaking news that's going to be happening this week. What Nancy said, what Ron Portman said. We'll be going over the vote, the 2 bills, the 1 bill, and the backup plan. A lot of breaking news. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you to hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, too. 3,000 likes. Every like helps, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Mornings Crypto, right on air at 9:30. Crypto's going through the roof. It zoomed overnight, but is it normal trading activity or not? I'll explain to you why Bitcoin is absolutely on a tear this morning. An enormous jump of 13% in just a few minutes. I'll explain the details. Then I'll be back with you at noontime LA and noontime at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as well. And with that, let's cut right to fifth stimulus. The president had promised this during the campaign trail, did not deliver it. And suddenly the Senate Democrats and the House Democrats said, wait, we got to take care of this for you. And they are. So Senate and House Democrats are taking care of the president's promises to you to raise your benefits up during the campaign trail. And they're putting it into the SSI and SSDI reform of fifth stimulus. Let's go over all the details of this starting right now. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll remove the asset limit, add the inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Who is this first for? It's for you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, yes, SSA or multiple beneficiaries. First thing they'll do is they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The vote on this would likely happen about October, November, so the benchmark would be December. What's the new benchmark? Inflation. Where is inflation going? It's transitory, said Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve on Capitol Hill last week. What does transitory means? It means it'll hit a temporary spike in December. Yes, right when they apply our benchmark? Yes, sirree. How high is inflation going? I have been reporting 5%, and last week, Wall Street confirmed that number as well. Great news. So how does this work out? First, your benefits will raise up one time. Then they'll apply the benchmark. Let's say it's 5%. Your benefits will step up an additional 5%, but not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate is 2% the year after that, you'll be a 2 plus 2% and plus 5%. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you have room to have a muddled, no, it's not muddled. Sorry. Room to have a purple shirt in your hand and also a stimulus check. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to do a pair dance. You'll no longer fear a loss of benefits, and you'll be able to get married to your longtime love interest. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. Meantime, the Democrats also represent there will be a fifth stimulus check. That same House Ways and Means subcommittee represent they're giving you a fifth stimulus check next year. It would not overlap with fourth stimulus. If you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check in turn, also you have to file a tax return and request it on the tax return. If you haven't done both things, reach out to the IRS for that as well. Finally, if you're in the live chat and you do not have a purple emoji hawk next to your name, what are you doing? Consider becoming a member. The link is under the video where it says join here. By joining and becoming a member, you're delivered all the information daily from me, written by me, of what is in the third stimulus package. And you'll notice why purple hawks, hawk, are pouncing and getting fortunes from these videos. Thousands, tens of thousands, $20,000s of dollars from these videos, because it's money available for them under the second stimulus and money available for you and third stimulus. If you haven't gotten it, then why aren't you becoming a member? Here's an example. When second stimulus passed, there was a $600 stimulus check, but I said, I'm going to get you $6,000. I got Tyrone $15,000 for his family. When third stimulus passed, I said, it's a $14 stimulus check, but I'm going to get you $14,000. And now I got Louis $18,000 for SNAP. Our viewer over the weekend, $17,000, $18,000 for rent, and Nisi, $23,000. So consider becoming a member. The link's under the video. And here we go. Time for the final 15 of the final 7 starting right now. With potentially 7 days left to get this done, not that the clock is running out, but with that we're so close to the finish line. What will happen in these next 7 days? It's critical. And in these final 15 minutes, we're going to go over it starting right now. First, the recon. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. It's done. These are checks not for children. That's third stimulus. This is fourth stimulus. This is checks for you. Checks for all walk of life. Checks for seniors. Checks for adults. Checks for workers. The agreement upon this is critical because, as Tim Kaine, Senator, Democrat, said, once they agreed on the Price Act, we're basically done. All they have to do is slot the numbers in there. Number 2, this is a huge amount of money. Bernie Sanders went into the meeting asking for $7 trillion and came out celebrating with 3.5. Why? It's exactly half the amount of 7. He said he gets the same amount paid for his programs, just in less amount of time. Wonderful news. And while we're not supposed to see what's in the recon until we actually see that bill with that S on it, here's a preview of some of the items which I have obtained due to one article about some of the items that are in the recon. Checks and checks and more checks. First, checks for free school meals for all. Checks for tax breaks. Checks for cheaper prescription medications. Checks for immigration reforms. Checks for farming. Checks for elections. Checks for free internet. They're going to give fortunes to the local cities so that you can get free internet from your local city. That money given for the federal government will allow cities to run their own internet company and give you free internet. And then checks for clean energy. Here come my checks for my seniors and checks for my workers. First, my workers. Checks for workers. Checks for unions. Checks for collective bargaining rights. Checks for independent contractors. And here come my checks for my seniors. Checks for seniors. Checks for Medicare expansion. Checks for eligibility age lower. Checks for dental. Checks for vision. And checks for hearing care. Wow, wonderful news. Let's cut over now to the bipartisan, the infrastructure, the roads and bridges. Mitt Romney 2 weeks ago said that the vote would be on the bill last week or this coming week. I said 2 weeks ago, not happening that week. I said coming this week. Well, what happened last week? Chuck Schumer called a vote on the bipartisan, not about the bill, but to end discussion about it. I said it's a great move. I didn't think it was going to pass, but I said it was a great move. It did not pass, but it was a great move. Because why? Hours later, Ron Portman, Senator, Republican, delivered Chuck Schumer a letter saying, I have a signature from 11 Republican senators saying that they're ready to vote and pass the bipartisan roads and bridges this week. Whoa, yes, yes. Ron Portman's representing that the Republicans are ready to vote and pass the bipartisan this week. This is huge. You know why it's huge if you're a viewer of this channel. Because the Democrats for weeks have said you have to have the bipartisan ready for a vote for them to call the recon for vote. Let me say that a little bit slower. There were some problematic Democratic senators who said, yeah, you can call the recon for a vote and send out the checks to the American people, but I'm not going to vote for the recon if the bipartisan is not ready. So with Ron Portman saying the bipartisan is ready for a vote this week, it then gets everything ready for us, and it gets even better. Remember, if you've seen these videos on this channel, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, Jalopal, the president, all say that the recon, our bill, goes for a vote before the bipartisan. It has to go for a vote first. If it doesn't get passed. It goes for a vote first. So if Ron Portman and the bipartisan bill is ready for a vote for roads and bridges this week, then our money goes for a vote right before it, also this week. Yes, great news. Now, here's a part of my opinion of the situation. How do I weigh a Ron Portman on one side versus a Mitt Romney on the other side? Both Republicans, both senators, both covered extensively on this channel over the last year. Here's my opinion of the situation. Mitt Romney has always been accurate as to date, time, drafting, quick, conciliatory, and getting things quickly done. He writes quickly, he delivers on time, and when there's a problem, he solves it right away. I put my weight with Mitt Romney. I don't put my weight with Ron Portman. Who's Ron Portman? In May of last year, when you were losing your home, your businesses, and your employees, and your car, and everything because of the pandemic in May of 2020, Ron Portman said, get back to work. You're lazy. I'm cutting off your unemployment benefits. That's Ron Portman. So when weighing the two people, who would I put more faith in? Mitt Romney. Ironically, they're both talking about the vote going this week. Now, let's cut to what happened just hours ago. Nancy Pelosi and Ron Portman were booked for the same talk show on broadcast media, and they were asked about the voting. Now, this is really interesting. Let's slow this one down. Ron Portman on broadcast media said, the voting on the recon, on the bipartisan roads and bridges is ready for this week. He said it should start voting right away. In fact, he was sort of like the conductor in the train saying, I'm ready, let's go, I'm ready, I'm ready. Wow, that's wonderful news. Nancy Pelosi on the other side said, no. I determine when things go for a vote, and the recon, our checks, $3.5 trillion, goes for a vote first before the bipartisan, obviously, because it has to. If it goes after, it fails. This is very interesting. Why am I bringing this up? Because of what I'm about to say right after this, which is if Ron Portman thinks that the roads and bridges are really so ready for a vote this week, that's really great news. But ironically, the Democrats don't think Ron Portman is being accurate about it. Ooh. Two publications surfaced over the weekend. They both start with the same premise, that the Democrats don't think Ron Portman is being accurate with this, and that they have a backup plan. The two articles have different backup plans. I'm going with the article I believe in. And the article says the following: that the Democrats have a long history of Republicans over the last 15 years saying, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, and then look at their watch saying, how long till the clock runs out? I'm ready. How long? 10 seconds? I'm ready. Oh, sorry, the clock ran out. You got nothing. And the Democrats remember those instances over history where the Republicans said they're ready, don't get it done, and the clock runs out, and the Democrats are left holding nothing. So what did the article say over the weekend? That Leader Schumer met with his Democratic senators, even the most problematic ones, yes, those, and said, here's the issue. Ron Portman says he's ready for the vote on the bipartisan, but what if he's not? What if he's pulling our leg? And you have said to us, some Democrats, that you will not vote on the recon if the bipartisan's not ready. He may be running out our clock, fellow senators. What do you think? And suddenly, an epiphany. Apparently, according to the article, every Senate Democrat, even the most problematic, changed their position and said, no, we will call the vote on the recon now. If the bipartisan is not ready, we will not allow Ron Portman to run out the clock on us. We will call the recon for a vote to send out the $3.5 trillion of checks if the bipartisan is not ready. And this is a major achievement because this is not what we had heard 3 weeks ago. We had heard that they were just going to never call the recon for a vote of the bipartisans ready. Now those those Democrats who are problematic said, no, you can't not allow me as a Democrat to do what I want to do. I'm not going to allow that. This is great news. All right, now let's go to the bill and the votes. Let's go over the bill. It's important for you to know that when that bill with that S on it, not Laverne and Shirley, not Schumer, but Senate, is debuted on the Senate side, it is not done yet. Yes, we have an emoji that says not bill yet. That's where we are at the moment. Then when you see the bill, we also have an emoji that says not law yet. It's important for you to know that the bill will go through modification because we have House and Senate members. The bill will start on the Senate, go to the House, then go back to the Senate for a 2-day vote-a-rama potentially, and then to the president. And guess what? The bill will get modified every step of the way. This is huge and great news and important for you to understand, which is why it brings me to my next point, which is when you see the reconciliation bill, the $3.5 trillion of checks, if something is great in there, no time to celebrate. If something is wrong in there, no time to sit back and grimace. It is time to push. But guess what? On Friday, the Democrats in the House said of the Senate Democrats, I'm not a cheap date. I'm going to modify what I want to modify. I need to explain this to you. You may have heard me earlier in this video talking about subcommittees in the House working on legislation. You say, well, why does the House have to have another bite of the apple? Because that's just subcommittees. Subcommittees may have just a dozen people. And then when it hits the House floor, that may be several hundred House members who never had a bite of the apple. And on Friday, they said, I'm biting at the apple. If I want to change things, I'm certainly changing things. So Purple Power, understand that the push is far from over. And the modifications are far from over when it's debuted on the Senate side. Remember, Senate floor, House floor, 2-day vote-a-rama to the president. It doesn't require a different day for each step, but that's not one day and it's not one vote. There's lots of votes and a lot of steps for them to modify it up and down and over and around. And with that, a lot of pushing for you to push on. Coming up next is Morning's Crypto. As we deal with Bitcoin going through the roof in the last few hours, it's a programmatic trading wave we've never seen. Bitcoin going up 13%. Yes, in just about an hour. What's going on? I'll explain all the details. Then I'm back with you at noontime at 11 a.m. If you saw the breaking news over the weekend, I'll deliver it again to you right now, which is that this channel is now expanding its programming. You'll be able to see shows on the hour every 2 hours starting the month of August. Also, Sirloin's coming back, and a new stock show is joining the lineup. Let's recap where we are on our fourth stimulus. Fourth stimulus has a $3.5 trillion price tag. It's checks for everyone across the board. Checks for seniors, checks for workers, checks for everyone. This is not checks for children. That's third stimulus. The recon has been agreed to. In principle, all they have to do is call the vote. The vote could happen this week if Ron Portman is being accurate and saying the bipartisan roads and bridges is ready for a vote. Recon will go for a vote first, then bipartisan. They'll start on the Senate side and then go to the House. Senators and House members have both represented. They're making modifications. So if you see something that needs to be modified, push Purple Power. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you to hit that subscribe button right now. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. Every like helps. 3,000 likes. It helps in the algorithm rankings. It also delivers a side of parsley. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, so you get all the deliciousness of the third stimulus money in your bank account. Become a member by clicking the link join underneath the video. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and I'll see you next in 5 minutes on Mornings Crypto.